What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a somber episode of Geeks Got Game, if not an abbreviated one. It is April 2nd, 2020. I'm Josiah Leroy. With me today, a man in mourning, John Fick.
Man, I wish you were meeting under better circumstances, my friend.
Oh my gosh. This is a tough one, everybody. So we're recording here tonight because we've got word that The Last of Us Part 2 is delayed indefinitely. We're so close. We're so close to the finish line. It was coming out next month.
I know.
After the delay we had from the original date, February 22nd, we missed the mark on that one. The world is going through what the world is going through. Sony and Naughty Dog have decided to hold the game for now. Probably a good decision with everything that is going on. I understand, from a business standpoint, it probably makes sense to do so. But from a gaming perspective, a gamer's perspective, this one hurts.
It's tough, man.
So, John, I'm surprised you were able to record with me tonight.
Yeah, I mentioned, you're like, yeah, want to do a quick Geeks Got Game. I'm like, yeah, if I can hold it together, man. It's tough. I'm a big fan of this game. I'm super excited for it, especially in a time like this. And obviously, we know it probably makes a lot of business sense to do something like this. But you look at Animal Crossing, like a big blockbuster game comes out in a time like this, and it's just like it's everything. It's all the talk. It's almost like a perfect time for a game to come out. But it's tough to logistically distribute it. So I understand. Just super bummed, man. I've been waiting for this game for so long.
Yeah. How many pre-orders did you have?
We'll have to talk about that. So I think I pre-ordered every edition through Best Buy. So that is 4. And then I also, and those were all like shipped to home. And then I went to GameStop and pre-ordered one, the limited edition, just the Steelbook, which was the one I was sure that I probably just wanted. I pre-ordered that one so I can have it the day before, like the Thursday release, because I do that nowadays. Like you can pick it up at 9 p.m. on Thursdays. So I grabbed that one, figuring that would be the one I definitely kept, and I just kind of secured all the other ones just to take my time and decide, because I happened to be online when they went live. But I think I still have 3 pre-ordered. I haven't actually made the final decision. Am I gonna go with that Ellie edition with the backpack? Am I gonna get the statue, or am I just gonna go with the Steelbook? So we'll see. Got a lot more time to consider it now.
It's a difficult situation. I know. I remember, with that day, and just be like, oh my gosh, he's got all the editions pre-ordered.
Add a cart.
I mean, why not? Right? You don't have to put any money down for it when it comes to Best Buy.
Just gotta be quick. Yeah.
Gotta be quick. So the official note, the news broke. Jason Schreier from Kotaku, and then we got a note from Naughty Dog on all their social media. So I'm going to read that off here for the listeners, if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud. But as you've likely just seen, the release of The Last of Us Part 2 has been delayed. We're sure this news is just as disappointing to you as it is to us. We wanted to reach out to all of you in our community to give you a little more information. The good news is we're nearly done with the development of The Last of Us Part 2. We are in the midst of fixing our final bugs. However, even with us finishing the game, we were faced with the reality that due to logistics beyond our control, we couldn't launch The Last of Us Part 2 to our satisfaction. We want to make sure everyone gets to play The Last of Us Part 2 around the same time, ensuring that we're doing everything possible to preserve the best experience for everyone. This meant delaying the game at such a time we can solve these logistic issues. We were bummed about the decision, but ultimately understood it's what's best and fair to all of our players. We're hoping that this won't be a long delay, and we'll update you as soon as we have new information to share. We wish you all, your families, and your friends the best of health. Thank you for being amazing fans and your continued support. Stay safe. Well said.
Yeah, for sure. First question I have for you is, do you have any skepticism? Do you think that there's any other reason behind the delay, or is it really just the logistical? I've seen people ask the question, are they using this to buy more time? Is it really because of the logistics and the distribution, or were there, was it just another delay?
I hadn't really considered that, to be honest with you, though it's a very valid question. My thought is, we've seen it over the years that games there's always this crunch time, right? And even if you delay a game, we've heard kind of the horror stories that it doesn't really give the development team more time per se. It gives them a longer bookmark at the end, but really those 10, 12, 15-hour days, those brutally long days that they put in, especially as you get towards the end, only multiply.
Yep.
So that being said, a game delay is almost, from I think a development standpoint, not a bad idea.
Sure.
I do think realistically that this is delayed because of all that's going on with coronavirus around the world. Distribution is a big deal right now. Granted, most people, everyone that owns a PS4 could get this digitally on day one. They could release it whenever, right? And you could do that. Now, you can't get your special editions or your physical copies quite as easily.
Yeah, certainly not all 5 of them.
Definitely not all 5. So there's people out there like John who have pre-ordered numerous editions, I'm sure, and have to figure that out. But anyway, I don't think so. But I think while that's happening, so maybe COVID-19 is the primary cause for this. I think maybe they're also looking to the side and saying, hey, this is not a bad idea because we can work on whatever final bugs there are and not have to crunch as bad.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion on it.
I think I'm right there with you. I only posed the question because I did see that narrative out there a little bit. Like I saw a little bit of, trolling and skepticism. Like, oh, okay, that's the excuse they're going to use for delaying the game again because, obviously it was already delayed once and Naughty Dog has seemingly delayed all of their big projects. Uncharted 4 got a couple delays. The first Last of Us got a delay. So, it's kind of in their track record. So I've seen people, skeptic about it. I think I'm right there with you. I think this is pretty transparent. Look at a game like Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is set to come out next Friday or 2 Fridays from now. It's a couple weeks out still, right?
Yep.
They're running into these distribution problems, and they literally just shipped that game early to Europe, Australia, everywhere out west, and they're like, or east. Sorry, we're west. So everywhere out east, and they're like, you might get the game early. Some of you guys might get it tomorrow. Some of you guys might get it a few weeks early. Just don't spoil it. Be cool. Right? That's kind of that was their messaging.
Yeah.
Sony would never let that happen. They're never going to be in a situation where they ship The Last of Us and they're not sure that the people they want playing it are going to play it at the exact same time. That was part of their message. They want this very much to be a pop culture, a blockbuster moment where everybody's talking about this game and they don't want to sacrifice that moment. So I think they're transparent here.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so. We talked about it on last episode of Geeks Got Game, if not the kind of, hey, what have we been doing during quarantine, where obviously there's a lot of bad stuff going on in the world, whether it's the economy or the health scare, and not just in the US, the world. And my family personally, if we're looking at the bright side of things, we've kind of been forced to nix our busy schedules and spend some time together, which has been great for us from, again, that standpoint. I wonder if Naughty Dog's thinking the same thing here. That, obviously we want to get that game out. This is the most anticipated game for many fans, for many outlets. It was our most anticipated game for the Geekiverse for this year, for what it's worth. And to say, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not a bad idea. We're going to get that little bit of extra polish time. And then whenever that time comes and we do get our hands on the game, our anticipation is ramped up even that much more.
For sure.
So I don't think there's anything bad here other than the fact that we can't play the game next month.
Yeah, we have to wait longer.
So
yeah,
we have to wait longer.
Only bad part, I had to cancel my PTO request. I was dreading it. I'm like, for some reason I knew I was gonna have to after we talked about all this. We briefly spoke if any of these big major games are gonna get delayed because of the COVID situation. We were all hoping not, but once I deleted that PTO request, I knew it was real. I'm like, man, I gotta work that day now.
Exactly. We talked about it kind of in the chat on the last episode of Busy Sticks.
Yeah.
Where I posed the question and I said, hey, do we think this was ringing in my head of my gosh, Last of Us, because you guys were streaming Last of Us, and I'm like, we're getting close.
Yeah.
Now is the time, and that was a week and a half ago, just about, and here we are, and unfortunately that feeling came to fruition. So, and we know the game is mostly done. I believe them. That's what they're saying. I don't think they're wrong on that.
Yep.
And it's just it's bad circumstances. There's really not much anyone can do about it. So obviously we're a little bit bummed, but from a business standpoint, understandable. Wanted to read some of the community reaction from the Geekiverse community on Facebook, and then another group that John and I are in for gaming. So Randy poses the question. So anyone want to bet that they retool it to make it a PS5 launch title for whenever that system releases? Yeah. And I think John and I have strong feelings on this. Good question, Randy, but I don't think so.
Yeah, so it almost begs the question, what does that even mean? Because we don't even know if these PS4 games that are going to be also PS5 compatible are even going to get separate SKUs. So it's just a muddy question because we're not sure of the of the strategy of the cross generation strategy that Sony's going to have. Are they going to pull the Microsoft thing, the Xbox, and if you buy an Xbox One game that is also on Xbox Series X, you just get the free patch to make your Xbox One version the Xbox Series X version? That's what everyone's hoping for. No one really knows. But the biggest thing out there is the fact that the PlayStation 4 has sold over 110 million units, I think, at this point. That install base is just insane. I mean, it's one of the best. I think is it number 2 best selling home console of all time? Maybe did it pass I think it just passed the Wii. Something like that.
Yeah, it's right around there. I just saw a stat on it the other day, and I don't recall. But I mean, to see where it's at and how far ahead it is of the Xbox One is insane.
It's nuts. I mean, even on that vein, the Switch has got the Xbox One, which is absolutely wild. But
it's crazy to me.
It is crazy. But yeah, so I mean, PS4, I think it's the second best selling home console of all time behind only the PS2, I'm pretty sure. So I mean, you're not going to, this is the game of the generation for PlayStation 4. Obviously, it's happened to come right at the end, but you're not going to just completely shell out that entire audience. Most of those 110 million people aren't going to be ready to buy a PS5 right away at launch. So you're not going to cut off that install base. You're going to sell that Last of Us Part 2 to everybody who can buy it. I totally agree. I think there's no chance we could be in a situation in my mind where, let's say, PS5 comes out on schedule, November timeframe, and for some reason, let's say just in a crazy scenario. Now, John, I'm just saying, it's not going to get there. But let's say Last of Us Part 2 did not come out yet. Sure.
I bet you Sony would still hold it back for a PS4 release. Because you're right, the install base is monstrous. It's one of the greatest selling systems of all time. It's got such goodwill. There's just it's the perfect storm.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt that game comes out on PS4. If that thing if they can run on PS4, it is coming out on PS4. No doubt.
Absolutely. Yep. And I am intrigued to see what their strategy is regarding Sony with the PS4 and PS5 in regards to how Xbox Series X is going to play.
Oh, Josiah, I lost you for a second. We're frozen. Oh, no.
Uh-oh.
You hearing me?
I'm hearing you now.
I lost you once you said I am interested to see how Sony is going to do that strategy. Okay. So try that again.
Sure. So I'm interested to see where Sony's if they're going to have the upgradable games like Microsoft does, where you buy Cyberpunk for your Xbox One and you get the appropriate version for it, essentially the Xbox Series X version, once that console comes out and you get to upgrade to it.
Yes.
And I feel like that's interesting.
And it's a big question for Sony because they have 2 huge games coming out still on the PS4. I mean, you've got The Last of Us Part 2, their biggest game of the generation, but you also have Sucker Punch's newest game, Ghost of Tsushima, that's coming out too. So that's going to be a very interesting question. I can't wait to see how they answer that.
I, by the way, am really stoked on that game, which will probably be delayed now, I would imagine.
That was a July release, right?
Close. June 26th, I believe.
Late June. Okay, so yeah, it's
Yeah, that's going to be tough. And just reading more comments from the community here. Jimmy says this is going to happen a lot more to high-profile games than people expect. I wholeheartedly believe that Cyberpunk will face the same fate. Frank says, guarantee we don't see the next gens this year either if they're coming this year for Christmas.
That I think I might agree with. I think both Sony and Microsoft have come out and put little breadcrumbs out there saying, no, that's probably not going to happen, or that's not going to happen. We're still on track, but that I would not be surprised if we don't see those consoles this year.
Yeah, how could you? Right, like everything's so up in the air right now with just everything that's been canceled and delayed and pushed back. I mean, the Olympics. Think about that. It's like the big thing to me. That has never not been every 4 years for what it's worth for Summer Olympics, and here we are. So I mean, that's just one thing. But I guess John, my next question is, if it happens, what game gets delayed next? Ghost is right there.
That would be the next one, right? But you almost think,
I would assume,
if they really had solid plans for that, wouldn't they say them both together? Wouldn't they kind of just soften the blow and announce those both at the same time? I don't know. But I guess then again, they wanted to let Naughty Dog make this announcement. They didn't. It wasn't like Sony posted a blog post. It was the official Naughty Dog Twitter account and Neil Druckmann who first got that news out there. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's my feeling, is that they wanted Naughty Dog to have their chance to say this, come from them, that it's, a Naughty Dog decision kind of in conjunction with Sony.
Yeah.
And I feel like Sucker Punch will have a similar message if that's what happens.
I almost still don't know if I'm completely sold that like every big game is going to be affected by this. I think Naughty Dog's in a different situation. Not that they are on this different pedestal in terms of like how good they are as a developer. You can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinions, but I think they really like this blockbuster mentality. They really like this, like, I don't know. They like controlling the moment, and they always have. So I can see why they would make this decision, and maybe a Sucker Punch wouldn't, as long as Sony was on board, and maybe a Cyberpunk wouldn't get delayed either, because they're just like, hey man, like it's gonna get out. Because Final Fantasy VII, that game is happening in the middle of this right now. We're at the worst of the quarantine situation, and Square's still putting that game out. So I can see CD Projekt Red just like saying, all right, well, just take your time. Nobody's beaten Cyberpunk in the first couple of days anyways. So, that if that game gets out to a few million people via download and takes a little while to ship, yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily think that this means that every game in 2020 is going to be doomed or be delayed or anything like that. I think Naughty Dog is just, they're a little different, and that's just kind of my opinion.
I think it's tough to see. Like, I guess we'll find out maybe in the next few days. That's what my gut tells me, if another one's going to get delayed. And maybe we get to the thing is with Cyberpunk, that is not scheduled to come out till September. So we've got some time with that before we've really got to punch that ticket.
Yeah.
Naughty Dog, they don't have a lot of time left before Last of Us is scheduled to ship.
Yeah, it's a month. So that's tough. That
is tough. And then of course we've got Avengers also scheduled to come out in September. That's right there with Cyberpunk. And then we've got the PS5 and the Xbox One, or the Xbox Series X, coming in the fall, or the holiday season, I should say. I think it's super intriguing to see where the chips fall after this, whether this is a one-off or if we see a trend. Yeah. I kind of get the sense that we are going to see a trend, but really what happens in April, especially around the world with what is going on with the quarantine, with the coronavirus, I think that's going to determine everything. If there's progress made, if there's no progress, if we just kind of level out, I think we're going to see a lot of those delays.
Definitely possible. I'm hoping not, man. Need some games to play. I'm locked in my house. Animal Crossing has been a savior.
I know. Animal Crossing, what a perfect storm.
Yeah.
Honestly, that game would have been popular anyway. But I think with everything again that's going on, it really took off to a new level. I mean,
there are so many people who have reached out to me in the last couple of days asking me, first of all, should I buy a Switch? Which one do I buy, and how do I buy a Switch right now? Because I want to get it on this Animal Crossing. I'm stuck in my house and want to join the conversation. So
good luck with the Switch.
Yeah, we lucked into one, man. We went to Target for something completely unrelated. We had to pick up some essentials, and we just like swung by the electronics section, and we saw a Switch Lite there, and we were talking about it, and we're like, it's there, and it's the last one, so we're gonna do this, and we did it. So now Courtney has a Switch Lite.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. My sister was asking me. Animal Crossing seems like a game right up her alley.
Yeah.
Like it seems like a game that's appealing to a large audience of non-traditional gamers.
Yeah, my fiance is perfect for that. The last console she owned was a Game Boy Advance.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. My wife Lauren has played much more than I have, and I'm playing on her island, which is pretty much how it is in real life. But anyway, that's how it's been going. I love to see her passion towards the game. Like first thing in the morning, logs in for a few minutes before we go to work, and after work, first thing that happens, we put it right on the TV when we get home. So I love that camaraderie. I'm sure you're in more than I am, but even just being in the bunch of group texts with you and the Facebook groups that we've been in, it's so much fun right now.
It is very fun.
Like, it's such a social gaming event. It's great.
The game has been out for like 9 days, and I have over 75 hours played.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. I love it. So, with regards to the Last of Us Part 2, I think that was just about everything I kind of wanted to cover here.
Yeah.
Our feelings are pretty clear on it, but any wrapping thoughts here for the Geekiverse community?
Big bummer. Going to be interested to see how it affects the rest of the community. Now I'm just mad I got to work that day. I no longer have an excuse to sit home and play The Last of Us anymore.
That's all right, John. We'll find the next date and we'll get that one too, because I think you had February 22nd originally.
I did. I moved that day too.
Man, it's the irony in all of this for this getting delayed is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Obviously apocalyptic setting, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And then second of all, this game could have come out in February. We would have all been fine. And it missed, and now it's going to miss its second one. So it's unfortunate, but it will be worth the wait. I'm very confident it'll be worth the wait.
Me too.
So in wrapping up this episode of Geeks Got Game, we just want to thank you for watching and or listening. If you're watching, you're at youtube.com/thegeekiverse or at thegeekiverse.com. And if you're listening, you are likely listening on Apple Podcasts or SoundCloud. So we appreciate that very much. One thing I want to note, we are starting something new here at the Geekiverse. We've got a merch store that's been around for a few years. You can go to thegeekiverse.storeenvy.com. However, we've got a new shirt of the month special. So our shirts are usually $14.99. This month, we're doing the God of War t-shirt. Boy, because this is the 2-year anniversary of God of War, the release from 2018. It feels like it was so much longer than that.
It does.
But it feels like it came out like 2015 to me. I know that's weird.
Well, time doesn't matter anymore because this last month has felt like 3 months, maybe 4 months. Like time is
might be part of it for me.
It's just a flat circle at this point.
It is. But anyway, if you're watching the video, you can see that I'm wearing the boy shirt. And that is going to be $9.99. We'll throw the link in the description. Make sure you go take advantage of it. We've got a blue and a black version of that. John, what does boy sound like?
Boy.
There it is. So John's probably got to get back to playing Animal Crossing. I've got to get back to watching Lauren play, and I've also got to get back to more Star Wars special features.
Man.
Because I love me some Rise of Skywalker, man.
That is such a good steelbook.
They did a good job with it. Like I said, my only qualm was that they didn't make episode 8 and episode 9 consistent with the rest of them, where they had the one person on there.
Yeah, those Best Buy ones those are really cool.
But gotta love them. John, Where can people find you on social?
Twitter, Instagram @Disruptoid. Same thing for any platform that has handles, basically.
I am at Josiah D. Leroy, so come find me on there. If you want to play some Animal Crossing with us, get involved with the Geekiverse at facebook.com/the Geekiverse. We'd love to chat with you there. For John, I'm Josiah. A somber goodbye. We'll see you guys later.